Long before Denver woke, Skybridge was already moving. Flight 6394 rolled into the hangar, exactly on schedule. That was normal whenever Captain Holden Mercer was in command. He recorded the flight while the rest of his crew prepared to leave. Sawyer teased, "Your handwriting is almost readable today." Holden replied, "I'll try to do worse tomorrow." His crew knew almost everything about him. They did not know he had gotten married 3 weeks earlier. Then someone unfamiliar entered the hangar. The new aircraft engineer moved as though she already belonged there. Holden heard her boots before he saw her face. For the first time that morning, he forgot what he was writing. Sloane stopped beneath the aircraft wing. Her secret husband was standing directly in front of her. Surprise lasted only a second. Then she continued walking. Sloane greeted him, "Captain Mercer." She continued, "I'm assigned to your post-flight inspection." Holden said, "You work here now." Sloane replied, "Since this morning." Before Holden could respond, Declan Hayes stepped forward. Declan said, "I'll take the logbook." Sloane kept her hand extended. Declan said, "You're new to Skybridge." Sloane replied, "Not to aircraft." She added, "My certifications are on the tablet." Then she said, "I've released hundreds of flights." Declan replied, "That doesn't make you familiar with our operation." Holden watched Sloane refuse to become defensive. Holden said, "She's assigned to the aircraft." He added, "Let her inspect it." Sloane accepted the logbook without thanking him. He had supported the engineer, not rescued his wife. Sloane started with the landing gear. She examined every tire for damage. She followed the hydraulic lines one connection at a time. Declan waited for her to hesitate. She never did. Holden watched from the aircraft stairs. A streak of grease appeared across Sloane's cheek. Sloane reported, "No discrepancies requiring maintenance action." Declan searched the report for something she had missed. He found nothing. Sloane carried the logbook back to Holden. She said, "Your aircraft is clear, Captain." She stepped closer, only when nobody was listening. Sloane whispered, "You left your apartment key on the kitchen counter." She added, "And dinner is at 7. Holden replied, "I'll be there." Sloane left before his coworkers noticed anything. Sawyer said, "The new engineer's impressive." Then he asked, "You know her?" Holden replied, "Not at work." Declan told Sloane, "You're working with my team for now." He warned her, "If you make a mistake, I'll report it." Sloane replied, "Then finding one should keep you busy." Sloane called her mother after leaving the hangar. Marion asked, "How was your first day?" Sloane replied, "Unexpected." Marion asked, "And how are things with Holden?" Sloane answered, "We haven't figured that out." 3 weeks earlier, Sloane had expected lunch with her mother. Instead, she found a carefully arranged blind date. Leaving immediately would have caused a family war. Their mothers abandoned them 11 minutes later. Sloane said, "They planned this." Holden replied, "Extensively." Holden said, "I should warn you, I'm bad at dating." Sloane replied, "That is a terrible opening statement." Holden said, "I thought honesty might save time." Holden told her, "Your mother wants you to leave aircraft maintenance." Sloane replied, "She thinks the work is too dangerous." Holden said, "I trust trained engineers more than worried relatives." That was the first answer he gave that surprised her. Holden said, "We could get married." Sloane stared at him. She replied, "We've been alone for 11 minutes. Holden corrected her, 12. Sloane said, "That did not improve the proposal." Holden explained, "Our families want us settled." He continued, "Your mother might finally stop questioning your career." Sloane asked, "What do you get?" Holden replied, "Peace at family dinners." He added, "And a partner who understands why work sometimes comes first." Sloane asked, "Do you have a hidden medical condition?" Holden replied, I can send you my latest aviation medical. Sloane asked, why me? Holden answered, you asked about my schedule before you asked what I earn. He continued, you defended your work without insulting your mother. For once, Sloane did not feel judged. Sloane said, you won't interfere with my career. Holden replied, never. Sloane said, you don't own my time. Holden replied, agreed. Sloane added, and our mothers make no decisions about children. Holden replied, that one belongs in writing. Sloane said, send me the paperwork. 6 days later, they stood inside a Denver courthouse. Holden signed first. Sloane hesitated only once. Then she signed her name beside his. Holden gave her a ring too elegant for an engine bay. Sloane placed it safely back inside the box. Holden did not ask her to wear it. The next day, Sloane moved into his apartment. Her work boots appeared beside his polished shoes. Then Holden left for recurrent training. He returned 3 weeks into their marriage. Her engineering books now occupied half his shelf. Sloane had ordered enough food for both of them. Sloane asked, how was training? Holden replied, I'm still a captain. Sloane said, congratulations. At 10:30, the conversation ran out. One hallway led to one bedroom. Inside it stood one bed. Sloane asked, should we go to bed? Holden studied her nervous face. Then he picked up a pillow. Holden said, I'll take the couch. Relief crossed Sloane's face. Something less convenient followed it. Holden said, you look happy. Sloane replied, I look tired. Holden said, you were smiling. Sloane replied, I was being polite. Holden asked, to the pillow. The couch was several inches too short for him. Sloane noticed from the bedroom doorway. He checked tomorrow's weather before sleeping. Then he set 2 alarms. Near midnight, Sloane came out for water. Holden's blanket had slipped to the floor. For once, he did not look like Captain Mercer. She pulled the blanket over his shoulders. Her hand remained there a second too long. Holden said, thank you. Sloane stopped breathing. She asked, you were awake? Holden replied, pilots are light sleepers. Sloane returned to the bedroom without another word. She smiled only after closing the door. Morning arrived before either of them was ready. Sloane's phone rang at 8. Marion said, Vivian called me. She continued, both families are having lunch tomorrow. Sloane asked, why? Marion replied, to discuss your wedding. Sloane said, we already got married. Marion replied, a courthouse signature is not a wedding. Holden was already awake. He had made coffee for both of them. Sloane ended the call and found him watching her. She said, they want to plan a ceremony. Holden replied, I heard. Sloane said, they think we're living like newlyweds. Holden followed her gaze. Then he looked toward the bedroom. Holden said, we should talk. Sloane asked, about the wedding. Holden replied, about sleeping arrangements. He continued, I can't sleep on that couch forever. Sloane said, I'm not ready for anything else. Holden replied, then nothing else happens. He continued, we can share the bed and still have boundaries. Holden promised, until you say yes, the answer is no. Sloane believed him. Tomorrow, their families would plan a celebration. Tonight, they would learn how to share a room. Their marriage had begun on paper. Now it had to begin in real life.